Hmm. Hey guys, thanks so much for sitting down with me. On behalf of the CMA, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day so we can get to know a little more about RSR Lending, one of our newest members with CMA. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, a part of CMA for me personally is getting to know our membership, where they've been, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and of course, kind of what makes them tick. So, we'll kind of dive into that today. But before we get into the details, I don't know, Richard, if you want to tell us a little bit about RSR Lending, how you guys started. And I know there's one other partner, the S in RSR, that's not with us today, but would love to hear how the three to you guys teamed up and what you guys are up to. So, Richard.
Sure. So I'll give my background. I graduated from Pepperdine in 2023, so not too long ago in the spring,
Yeah,
and
man.
immediately started working at a local family office in Malibu, and there got exposure to all sorts of real estate investments.
Mm-hmm.
One of those buckets was originating loans, private loans.
Yeah.
And so they were a CFL lender, are a CFL lender. And so got to work on all the details of those loans, which was exciting and a huge learning experience. But then at the same time, we one day would come to the office and we'd be working on a commercial property in, on the East Coast. And the next day we'd be originating a second trust deed in the backyard.
Mm.
The next day we'd be building a home, not too far down the road. So it was a really cool introduction to the real
Yeah.
estate industry and the whole space. Um, so
Very dynamic,
after,
it sounds like.
yeah, so after about a year of doing that, I got engaged and was moving up to Santa Cruz
Mm-hmm.
and met Ryan and Shane through my fiance's family. They've known each other for a long time. And I guess, Ryan, I'll let you go from here.
Yeah,
Kind of how you guys got into this.
sure. Yeah, so my background, Shane and I have actually been in the appraisal industry for over 20 years. We have an appraisal firm based in Santa Cruz. I've been doing valuations, predominantly commercial properties, but also in the residential space. And private money has just always intrigued us. It's always something that we were interested in getting involved in, but just didn't have the time and running a busy appraisal shop. It was just one of those things where we talk about it, but like actually putting it together was just challenging.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, Richard ended up connecting with Shane. Shane just thought he had great energy. He's definitely a little bit younger than us, but we like that. We love having the young blood and the energy.
Yeah.
And the fact that he had a little bit of experience coming from the family office seemed like it would be a great fit. And we met, kind of talked a couple times, and decided it was a good fit. And yes, we've been at it. We're newer. We've been at it for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun, and it's just been a great team so far. It's you got kind of the old dogs with me and Shane, and then the young blood with Richard. It's just been a good blend, and we've just been enjoying it the whole time.
Yeah. And I found you guys, so newer member of CMA, which we appreciate. Welcome. And I too am new to CMA, and Lynn Capital Partners, my own mortgage brokerage, is also new. So totally understand working and building up not only the business, but your network and how that goes. So when I was looking at RSR Lending, again, you had mentioned you guys are recently new. You had mentioned, Ryan, that your majority of appraisals are in commercial. So was that kind of where RSR Lending, like your focus is on this part, is on commercial, or are you guys looking at some business purpose stuff in the residential?
Yeah, great question. Just by the nature of the deals that have flowed across our desk, we've predominantly been lending on residential to date. But that said, our commercial, I believe, is our strong suit. And just in that, on the valuation side, that's what we do every single day. I mean, all day, all we do is look at commercial property and analyze it and understand the asset inside and out. So I think just by just the way the market is right now, we have not had an opportunity to lend on any small commercial deals. But
Yeah.
certainly, when I look to our strengths, analyzing a commercial property, and the more complex, the more funky, the better.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
because, like I said, it's all we do is analyze that type of property every single day. You name it, we've looked at it, and we can peg values, and we feel very comfortable with that. So, yeah, commercial is definitely something that we're looking to do more of, certainly.
And what advantage? I mean, you guys have a huge advantage, right? With the appraisal background that you guys have. You had mentioned that special use property. I mean, anybody and everybody is going after those cookie cutter box deals that are easy to pencil. And so, what a niche it is with your guys' valuation background to be able to look at a deal, see the strengths in the deal, and then also to be able to understand a proper valuation for the lending side of it, and
Yeah,
which is huge because I think if any lender, if you would ask them where they missed, it was on the valuation piece, right? Like
yeah,
you can have a really strong borrower, you can have all the stuff is going great, but then world happens or life happens to the borrower. Next thing you know, you have a vacant property, and if you don't value it right, you know
yeah.
your great one cash flowing investment now kind of turns to crap, so to say. So what an advantage that you guys have at RSR. And Richard, with you, with your background in a family office, I haven't worked for a family office, but I did work for a private money syndicator. And I can see like the dynamic piece of that, where, I mean, you're probably drinking from a fire hose. If you graduated Pepperdine in 2023, and, you know, for that year of time, I bet you've seen a lot of different deals, different scenarios. So, what an asset that you bring to the table with that experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's a
with
blast,
that
and we're
being
learning every day. Like
yeah.
there's,
Oh,
it's
yes.
still a huge learning experience, and something that
Hmm.
we say often when we're looking at deals is we don't necessarily know the exact value if we had to peg an exact value,
Right.
but we can say it's at least worth $1 million.
Hmm.
Worst case scenario, we know it's worth this, and
Yeah.
that's from my perspective, working with borrowers mainly, to have Ryan and Shane who can confidently say that is it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. So, lending wise, so commercial properties would be your focus and where you'd want to be. What about like areas? So, you mentioned Santa Cruz area. Are you guys up and down California, certain Bay Area, Santa Cruz area? Where are you guys focusing your efforts on finding deals?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're looking at deals all over Northern California.
Hmm.
We've recently done a deal out in Soledad. We're looking at some stuff up in the Sacramento area. But
Great.
as far as like what our core strength is, certainly the Monterey Bay area. So Santa Cruz, Monterey, San Benito County. Again, just being based here for over 20 years in the valuation industry.
Yeah.
My wife gets tired of me driving by and being like, "Oh, we value that building. We've done that building. I've been in that building." Like we know, and there's not a ton of assets in this market anyway. So, and we've
Yeah.
valued most of them. So, we have a really strong understanding of the Monterey Bay Area, certainly.
Yeah. Right. Speaking of Monterey, are you guys going to make it to our conference in Monterey in October?
100%. Yeah, we're actually.
Good,
Yeah,
good. It's a great conference. And again, it's nice for us here in Northern California area that we can drive, then fly. And sounds like where we're having it this year is a really great location. So I think it's off, is it Cannery Row?
Cannery
Is that
Row.
what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
So it
beautiful
should be a
area.
great event. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. And I think you guys too, if I remember correctly, you guys attended our private money basics, which
Mm,
was maybe just a week or so ago. So,
yeah.
were your takeaways from that and meeting with Brad and Joffrey and Brad Rogerson and all the panelists?
I overall it was extremely helpful.
Oh, good.
Events like that, I we kind of view it's like having an informal board of directors because
Yeah,
you get a real time go and learn things that you're dealing with in your
yeah.
business, and especially being new to this space specifically. There's a lot of times where you're running into business questions, and we're like, I don't know what the best move is here, and
Hmm.
it feels like we're taking a shot in the dark sometimes.
Yeah.
So to be able to go to an event like that and have people that run the gamut of experience,
Hmm.
um, listen to Brad, listen to Joffrey. We got to pick Mark Forbes' brain a little bit.
Oh,
And
yes. Forbes. Yeah. They've been in the business
yeah,
for over 100 years, their
yeah.
company.
And
It's
so to be
wild.
able to like
Yeah.
ask questions and get honest and open feedback
Mm-hmm.
is such a game changer to bring back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, what do you think?
I mean, in one word, I would say I was impressed.
Yeah.
I've taken a lot of courses through various professional organizations over the year, and yeah, that course was very insightful, very
Yeah.
helpful. Um, yeah, and it's interesting. We talk about our strong suit, with the
Mm-hmm.
valuation background, and certainly pegging values on assets is what we do all the time. But there's so much more to the business from like a regulatory standpoint, which
Oh,
is new to
yes.
us.
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
overwhelming, frankly. And so
Oh.
to have an organization that is all about educating its members
Mm-hmm.
on all of the rules and laws, and honestly, that's another reason why we wanted to join CMA is because we want to be known as lenders in a group that works with integrity, and we
Yeah.
do things correctly and we do things
Yep.
right. And again, going back to being in the valuation industry, we've dealt with private money lenders over the last 2 decades, and it runs the gamut when it comes to integrity. And there's some good ones out there, and there's some not so
Oh,
good ones. And
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think just being a part of CMA automatically kind of puts us in that upper echelon, that upper tier of like, okay, these guys are legit. They know what they're doing. They
Mm-hmm.
understand how this business works.
Yeah.
So it's been huge. It's been very helpful. And just the fact that
Oh.
there's an organization out there like that is just, it's amazing.
Yeah, totally agree. I attended lobby day with CMA for the first time. So completely fish out of water. What do I say? What do I don't say? But to see like that lobby day and what they do, um, and coming together. And I think it was with, and I'm going to say this wrong. I think it was like a title association. And forgive me that I can't remember their association's name, but they teamed up with the CMA and all sat together with our lobbyist and told us all about it, educated. I mean, there's things that are going through that, I mean, no one would ever know. And thankfully, we have eyes and ears and our council through the CMA that the PAC contributions go to that keep us apprised. I think right now, even Brad posted something on LinkedIn this morning about the second mortgages that they're trying to implement something and it got squashed in the one bill that we lobbied against. But rumor is that they slipped it in another bill. So anyways, I agree. The education piece is huge, the regulatory piece and keeping compliance. And they're really good with all of their learning labs, and this private money basics is top notch. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad they brought it to NorCal because again, I'm kind of the squeaky wheel being here in Sacramento. That for us up here, there's all the options, but we are focusing more on bringing more of that content and more of those opportunities up north because there is a lot of private money lenders that are up here that don't get that opportunity. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for the feedback because that's great, and I'm sure Brad and all the experts that attended that day would love to hear that. So appreciate that. So you guys are are you in like thinking yourselves right now? Are you guys in the board? Are you direct lenders or are you guys like Lynn Capital where we're in the broker space right now?
So we've been brokering
Mm-hmm.
primarily. And Ryan, you can speak to this a little bit, but I'd say part of the motivation for both Shane and Ryan
Mm-hmm.
is to also lend out some of their own funds.
Yeah.
So in that sense, but we've been still brokering. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds the same. That's for Lynn Capital as well. That's kind of our stay in the broker part for kind of right now,
Mm-hmm.
get our footing, and then lend our own money versus with investor no money. Which again, CMA totally helps you along the way with that as well. But and even in the broker space, it's interesting. There's a lot of changes in what you're supposed to do, and like you said, Ryan, in the private money world, people think, oh, it's private money. You're not regulated. You don't need to do that. Don't worry about it, right? Does it breathe and fog a mirror? Good. But that's fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know which way, that's not the case. But there are a lot of brokers out there that give us a bad name, especially when I get the question, well, I'm a private money. Oh, so you're a hard money. Well, no,
Yeah.
it's kind of changed over the years,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
hard money, and there still are hard money out there. right? Quick and dirty. They just come in and loan sharks, so to say, but private money, there's a beautiful thing about it, and it fills a wonderful niche. So
For
welcome
sure.
to the broker group. I have
Thank
some
you.
fellow brokers with me. So Santa Cruz, what do you guys do kind of off the business thing? What do you guys do for fun? Are you, like Santa Cruz, I think of the boardwalk. I think of like surfing. I
Uh-huh.
think,
Yeah.
Capitola.
Yeah. So
So
that's
what about,
yeah. So Santa Cruz is, if for people that live here know, there's kind of like the west side and the east side, and the west side is where the campus is and downtown, and then the east
mhm,
side is kind of Pleasure Point, Capitola. It's just a different vibe. And
yeah.
I've always lived on the east side.
Mhm,
Definitely took advantage of the surfing here, taken advantage
mhm,
of the mountain biking. But honestly, I turned 50 last year,
mhm.
and now I've got this like mild obsession with pickleball. And so
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge
Yes,
pickleballer, and
yes.
Richard has a tennis background, and he's on board. And yeah, we've played pickleball before. And honestly, it's something, an idea that we've been kicking around, is putting together a mixer or a fundraiser with RSR
Yeah.
as a pickleball tournament. Is something that we've
Oh,
been looking at
fun.
potentially doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
super competitive though, so competitive that even my nephew in Florida, we were playing pickleball, and yeah, no mercy. You can
Do you
ask my
play?
son too. No mercy.
Do you play regularly?
No, not really. I should. There's they converted tennis courts, right? Like, so
Uh huh.
everybody's pickleballing.
Yeah.
So here in Woodland, where I live, there's a pickleball association here, and they convert it right down. And so when I take my dogs for a walk, we go by, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I really need to join in, but
Okay.
I also
Well, you
don't make
can
friends when I compete either. So,
you can be Shane's partner.
hey, yeah. No, I'm you. That's a wonderful idea. If you
Yeah.
guys do that, let me know. We will
Okay.
100%. I will help group people together, and we'll come.
Yeah.
Definitely can promote that. So that would be fun. Yes, but like I said, don't hold it against me. You
Nah.
see a competitive side. So there's two sides of Angela, and the competitive one is like so. Oh well, but yeah, that would be fun. So Richard, you went to school in Pepperdine.
Yep.
You got engaged,
Hmm.
moved to Santa Cruz. So are you married now? Still?
Getting married in 38 days.
Woo!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Getting married down in Monterey, actually, which is pretty fun.
Yeah,
Not too far from where the conference will be. Um,
good. So are
so
you from California then, or did you
no,
just come here?
I was born in Nashville, and then I moved in middle school, moved to Seattle, and that's really where I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then went to California for the very first time when I showed up for college.
For college. And now look at you, you're a Californian.
I know, yeah. Went from a zero income tax state to this, and
I know, man. Right?
but
Well,
we didn't have surfing growing up, and that was something that has been a blast to get into. And then moving to Malibu surfing is very different than Santa Cruz surfing. I've
mm-hmm.
learned.
Yeah.
I learned pretty quickly. So I also live on the east side, and learned pretty quickly that just because you live here doesn't mean you're allowed to surf on the west side. You get in the water,
Clicking.
and
Yeah.
it's like you get raked to the coals. It's pretty funny.
They can find the newbie and they're like,
Oh yeah.
oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah. I never could do serving. The Shark Week always scared me, so I'll stay over here.
There's certainly sharks in the water here for sure.
But
Um,
I do. I have a couple nephews that they surf, so they would go down there and surf. And actually, one of them started college, went down to Channel Islands, which is a small Cal State school. It's kind of a commuter school, but I guess it has really good surfing. But
Mm.
he came
okay.
back up this way, surfed for a year and did a little college, and then figured, yeah. But
Very cool.
so Capitola, it got wiped out, and even the boardwalk. So are you guys seeing some rebuilds in that area? Like any
It
kind of?
wasn't. I'll say it wasn't as bad as I think it got made out to be on the news.
Oh,
It was
okay.
one of those stories that I think got. I mean, certainly a couple of restaurants got beat up pretty bad. The wharf got beat up. The wharf in Capitola has been rebuilt.
Oh, okay.
Um, Yeah, and we actually own an Airbnb in Capitola that my wife
Uh-huh.
manages, and it's very successful. So the
Yeah.
business is back, and tourism has been great. Yeah, so everything's kind of back on track here in Santa Cruz. So yeah,
Good. Yeah, we go down there quite often, and actually even during COVID, don't tell, we went to the Dream Inn because it was super
yeah,
cheap and there was nobody there. Um, but anyway, I love it. We have many memories growing up too, going there to the boardwalk.
we'll do some staycations at the Dream Inn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
nice.
like
Yeah,
classic. I
yeah,
mean, it's great. I mean, and you can't get any better, the location being right
yeah.
there.
And if
So
you do want to, if you're interested in our rental in Capitola, hit me up and you can book direct and not have to pay
yeah,
those 13% Airbnb fees. So
I will. Isn't there like a fireworks show? My husband always told me that there was like, is it around,
it's in October. It's a fundraiser.
October?
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
we always seem like we're gone or something. But since we met 6 years ago, he was like, oh,
yeah.
we got to go to this because I think he took his son many years ago. He used to do a lot of mountain bike
Okay,
riding, I guess, up in there. Him and his son did. But then he
cool.
met me, and then, I've gone mountain
Yeah,
bike riding twice. And let me
okay.
tell you, wow,
Yeah,
that's tough. Let me tell you. And it was like I was going up this one hill, and I looked like I could do it. Didn't have enough steam at all. It was like down and kind of go up, and it was
uh-huh.
like so slow mo. And then I got up, and it was just like boop, all
Yeah,
over. I was like, maybe this isn't for me. But
nice.
anyways, enough about that. So you guys joined CMA. You already kind of said about the education piece and being a company with integrity. Love that. Love that you guys are a part of CMA. I guess the next few minutes would be is just anything else that you would like people to know about RSR lending. Anything like, again, you have a pickleball tournament, maybe I'll put that a TBD on the date for that. But anything else that you guys want to share about RSR lending? Floor's open.
Richard?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we got into this business to do it right and um, capitalize on Shane and Ryan's expertise because it's an area that a lot of lenders won't touch. Um, and the local knowledge that they both carry, as well as the people that we've been meeting along the way,
Yeah.
um, is huge. Um, One of the questions that you wrote down here that I thought was good was what's a pivotal moment that
Yeah.
kind of shaped our
Hmm.
company's identity? And I'd say so we didn't get our first deal for 6 months that we did.
Hmm.
Um, and the pivotal moment was over and over and over again going, that's not the lender we're going to be. We're not going to do this
Hmm.
deal.
Yep.
Or, this is not putting the borrower in a good position. We're going to turn it down.
Yep.
And even though we could have done those deals and the borrowers
Hmm.
wanted us to fund those deals,
Yeah.
um, we said no. And that was something that I think even as a team to be on the same page and go, yeah, we're going to be a lender who's putting borrowers in a better position with the loans that we're providing or
Yep.
making or arranging. Still
Yeah.
working on the wording here. Um, and so I think that's been
Hmm.
a really cool thing, especially for the three of us to um, set our vision on this is the type of lender we're going to be. We're going to do deals that are complex and
Hmm.
need some expertise because we have that. But at the same time, we're not going to put the borrower in a position that
Yeah.
is worse for them or put our investors and lenders in positions where it's 50-50 or there's a
Yeah.
lot more risk than we know that they would like. So
Absolutely.
um, yeah, that I'd say is one big reason we got into this and to do it right. Shane, if he was here, he'd say that when they started the appraisal business, it was one big theme was providing customer service to an industry that didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, there's a lot of incredible lenders, but to be able to be a broker on a deal that has some hair on it is pretty cool, and be able to navigate those problems.
Yeah.
Working with Ryan, he's an incredible problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we sit down and we're going through a deal, to be able to throw around ideas with our lenders and work out solutions that make sense for everybody is exciting, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. That's it. It's a really good point that you brought up about putting the borrower in a better position than when they came. Because you're right. There are a lot of people that will just like take a deal and just keep peppering until they find a lender to say yes. And that yes may not be what's best for the borrower. And at the end of the day, as brokers, right? Like that's kind of that ping pong between the borrower and the lender, is that finding that middle ground, which makes most sense for both of them. Not only does it set your borrower up for success, but the lender up for success. And sometimes saying no is that answer. And so, really good point, because as brokers, that is a hard thing, especially when times are tough, right? Like you just were like that kind of temptation just to maybe overlook something. So, that's a really good point. And that's awesome that that's a core belief between the three of you and a core value for your business. So
Yeah.
it's a really good point. Thanks.
Yeah. Again, I just wanted to go back to just saying how impressed I've been so far with the CMA, and taking that private money lending basics course. And, I remember at the very beginning talking with Joffrey, right, who's been in this industry forever, wealth of knowledge. And I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
aren't you guys kind of like training your competition, or like what's in it for you, And it's just
Yeah.
about spreading
Mm-hmm.
the wealth and spreading the love
Yes.
and teaching people how to do this with integrity, with
Mm-hmm.
in compliance and doing it correctly. So very grateful that there is an organization out there like that that's doing this, and that you
Yeah.
have these members and that are and instructors that are willing to spread the wealth and share their knowledge. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, and totally. And that was kind of a thing. And to be honest, back when I started or was with Blackburn, I attended a couple. And being young and female, it was always the core of the CMA was that. But the group and the leadership within CMA now is more welcoming and more really about building each other up, and not the kind of cutthroat that the industry could be.
yeah,
And so, again, great point and great highlight to the CMA, because I couldn't agree more. That was the one thing when I attended my first conference, which was Monterey last year. So welcoming, so welcoming. And so, like, hey, you're new and welcome to CMA. And what can we help you with? And Brad, who's the president now, was actually the one that onboarded me. And even still to this day, I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he was driving and we were talking about something else. And he's like, hey, if you ever need such and such, let me get you in contact with them. They're a really great source. And anytime that I picked up the phone, even if it wasn't a deal that he could do with his group, um, he has always been available. So that is core of CMA. It is really a big highlight with the education advocacy of, with all the legislation that's going. But big, it's not cutthroat. It's everybody coming together to bounce ideas off each other, and really just wants everybody to succeed in an ever changing market. So
it's cool.
yeah. Well, thank you both. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys in Monterey here in
Yeah,
October. So when I see, we'll definitely have to sit down and have lunch together and get to know each other more. And then, and then when you guys have the pickleball all set up, let me know. I'll
hopefully by
give you,
then we'll have a date and we'll get you
yeah.
on the
I
yeah.
need a little extra stretches these days too,
Okay, fair.
but I'll be there. So, but thank you very much for sitting down with us. RSR Lending with Shane, the S, not with us today, but look forward to meeting him too. So thanks to you both, and good luck. And again, reach out if there's anything that the CMA can do, or me too.
Cool. Thanks,
Thank you
Angela.
so much, Angela.
Thank you.